Hey nerds, it's Wednesday, and we're here to talk about the Olympics this week. Now, much like Nicole and Adele, the Olympics are not a big deal for me. Definitely not on a sports level. On a skill level, some of the things I've seen, whether through glimpses on the television or through gift sets on Tumblr, are simply put amazing. Because I don't have cable to watch the Olympics, I'm instead going to talk about some of the cool things the Olympics have brought up. So this video today comes in 3 quick parts. Part 1, live broadcasting. So if you're watching this in another country, this may not be as big of a deal. But for us living in the US, there is an ever-increasing opposition to NBC's handling of the Olympic broadcast. Instead of showing the events to us live as they are happening, NBC is shifting them to the primetime slots. The problem with this is it ignores much of how the world's been changing over the last few years. The internet has us more connected than ever, which means there are droves of people avoiding Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, and even Google+, because they don't want spoilers on how the events turned out. Some have just drummed this up to NBC not being connected to the way the world is changing and how people are talking to one another and discussing events as they happen. And some are taking the more cynical approach that NBC is simply trying to control their ad revenue stream, which is very important to their structure. And to a point that brings us to part 2, because you know who is at the forefront of our changing times? Nerd fighters. Now Gina, you already talked about this, but the internet has really blown up over the discovery of Jennifer Pinches, who is not only an apparently amazing British gymnast, but also a self-proclaimed nerd fighter. I've seen more GIFs and picture sets of this girl than anyone online recently. Not to mention she was in a video with Alex Day, which is totally awesome. And I think it's really awesome that the nerd fair community has latched on to this, this awesome person representing us in this global showcase. Now part 3 is about the internet and the Olympics. I've touched on this, but Tumblr really has been, in my opinion, the forefront of being like gung-ho about the Olympics when it comes to internet communities. One person even said that they felt that the opening ceremony was made for the fandoms, and it's been, awesome and amusing to me to see a 40-foot Voldemort, not to mention James Bond jumping out of a plane with the Queen. And I just think it's really cool to see one international community, which is the internet, showing up and enjoying the games in an international manner like I think they were always really intended to be. And of course, even though it is international, there are people that are inclined to root for the home team, but I'm more inclined than ever to check out the next set of Olympic Games and just be a part of that community which I've never been a part of. So until the next nerd, and as always guys, DFTBA.